I now put him in not the Bill Walton bucket because Walton was a champion, proven playoff great player. Like Walton had no question marks at all except he got hurt. So and Embiid, even healthy, obviously had underachieved and underperformed in the playoffs. But in that very next tier of biggest all-time greats, careers derailed by injury, he to me jumps ahead of Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, those guys as best players I've ever seen who careers just wrecked it all. Like more than Derrick Rose even. And
so you think he would have been better than Grant Hill and Penny?
Yes. I mean I'm going to show you a stunning graphic. Here are the all-time leading points per game guys in NBA history. He's fourth. And then look at the minutes played per game. So Luka's the lowest at 35 other than Embiid. Embiid was 0.88 points per minute for his career. He is, by that metric, the best scorer ever. Like I don't think he's the best scorer ever, but as far as nobody in the history of the league has scored more on a per minute basis than him. He has 3 top 2 MVP finishes. Only 14 guys in the history of the league have more, and it's 12 of the greatest 15 players ever and a couple other all-time greats. And we're just never like this one, Brew, is the unluckiest of them all. Like you can get appendicitis at any point in the calendar except for right now, and it's not that big of a deal. And instead, it probably ends his season.
Yeah, and then look at some of his other injuries. Was it last year, the Bell's palsy? I mean, that just is out of your control. And the orbital fractures, I mean, obviously it's contact, but that's not your fault. I would not put him, I think Embiid is phenomenal. I think he would have been a top 10 center of all time had he had a healthy career. He's one of the greatest scorers that we have seen. I mean, I would always get bothered by him earlier in his career because I thought he should have been on the block more and playing inside more. But he is a phenomenal jump shooter. Like, I mean, as far as just real big men, not a Kevin Durant, not a Dirk Nowitzki.
He's the best jump shooting center ever.
Incredible shooter. I mean, a phenomenal shooter, especially in the mid-range. But I would not put him ahead right now of Grant Hill and Penny. I think they obviously would have been historic players as well. And it is like Bill Walton. That's really what this is. Walton, though, to your point, capitalized. It was early in his career. Walton only started 60 or more games one time in his career. And he capitalized on it and won the championship in 1977, and then his health was a problem the rest of his career. Embiid will be a Hall of Famer.
Really?
Walton made 2 All-Star teams. Think about it, only 2. Now, you look at some of the older guys that made the Hall of Fame, and they had shorter primes, than even Embiid. Embiid made 7 All-Star games, 5 All-NBA, I believe, 1 in MVP. Like and the NBA Hall of Fame is a little easier to get into than some of these others. So he's getting in, and rightly so. I'm not shocked at your response because I think a lot of people will be like, really? But when you look at his career compared to some guys that are kind of legends, he had played more than them and had more accolades than them. So I think he'll definitely get in.
I mean, he's obviously a Hall of Famer. Joel Embiid I wanted to make this video and I want to post it on this football channel because I want to be able to have a real honest discussion about Joel Embiid and everything that has happened here because it is so much more of a tragedy than people realize, and yet I still feel like Embiid is kind of like a joke in the comments section. So, you guys all know the basketball channel, it's JWL Hoops. That's where all the basketball takes are. That's where all the basketball videos are. We'll be covering the playoffs, covering all that, live streaming. So, please definitely check out that channel, subscribe if you can. But, I really want to talk about this because this is so devastating and frustrating in actual players, actual NBA players, the LeBrons, the KDs, the Stephs, they all have such an insane respect for Embiid and understand how great he is and understand that his injuries are just luck. It's just that people be like, oh, he's not in shape. He's this, that. And it's like, it's such nonsense when you look at all these other players, whether it be Jokic, whether it be Luka, I'm just go Shaq. Like, it's not like Embiid is clearly out of shape of some sort. His body he's a monster. His body is a monster, and yet it can't, snorts, endure it. And he's done everything to try to keep competing. Tears meniscus, not get surgery yet. Tears his meniscus, get surgery, does everything he can do to come back to it. He gets a concussion. He breaks his orbital bone. Like, and it's just unbelievable the things that have happened to him. Bell's palsy. Appendicitis, he had to have emergency surgery in Houston. That's how you know it was an emergency, because he had to do it right then and there in Houston. He couldn't go back to Philly or go back anywhere. Like, he had to get it right then and there. Like, it's just such a bummer. And then they be like, oh, well, he came up short in the playoffs. 1, because he was never healthy. And 2, because his team was a joke and a disaster. Okay. Look at all the other teams, all the other greats that have had success in the playoffs, etc., etc. It's like, they've all had a squad around them. They've had great coaching. Okay. He did not have that. Even when he had Jimmy Butler was not great in that playoff run. He was essentially worse than Tobias Harris. So, it was just like, what do you want him to do there? Then he had James Harden, who was like a shell of himself. He had Ben Simmons, who like, put me in there. Put me in over Ben Simmons, okay? Put me in there over him. I mean, he's been playing with players that people don't even know their names anymore. People playing with people overseas who you're like, what's that guy? And it's like, not the cool overseas players, the players who you're like, this guy is what does he do? Who what? Is this? What am I looking at right now? Playing for coaches that will never coach in the NBA ever again. So, it was just like, let's not pretend like Joel Embiid has been supported. Like, he's been developed by great coaching and a great team around him, etc., etc. And it's such a bummer because his game was evolving. And this was the best version of the Sixers and the best version of Embiid. And it was awesome, and it was great, and I really truly from the bottom of my heart believe that this Sixers team could have done damage and gotten to the finals. I really believe that. And then seeing this happen, you're just like, this can't even be real. Like, how is this even possible? Because it was almost kind of worked out that like Embiid was actually kind of banged up, and so then he wasn't playing, and so now he'll actually be rested, and he'll actually be healthy for the playoffs. And it's like, oh my gosh, we've never actually seen him healthy and mature in the playoffs, like ready to go. Let's do it. And actually has a squad around him, PG, Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre. I mean, like he actually got people. Like, alright, even when he's off, when he's on the bench, you even got like Andre Drummond and stuff and Bona. You're like, okay, like they can actually make this work now. And he needs emergency appendectomy. I mean, that's just crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, it's just he's missed 463 of possible 963 games. That's just because, well, he just doesn't work out enough. Oh, well, LeBron James never got injured. And it's just like, it's just crazy. It's just his body. And it's such a bummer. And when you talk to and listen to other players that actually are out there, like they all know, man, it's just they just know it's just like, man, this isn't an Embiid problem. And the players love Embiid. Do you see how they all rallied behind him in the Olympics when he was getting booed by the French or whatever? Even the players that he was playing in front of. AD and oh my god. Why can't I think of the guy who just scored 80-something points? Bam. I got there. They were rooting for him. Like, everyone I know Embiid can, talks the trash and kind of has all that, but like they all love him. And if you remember when I think Derrick Rose put up like a 50-point game, and just like everybody was so happy for him. And it's not because they were like, oh, he's back. Because they just know this guy's career was just robbed with injuries. And like, that 50-point game is what he can do. And we saw Embiid go for 70. Like we've seen Embiid be absolutely spectacular. And you see this, like these aren't cooked books either. This is not cooked books. And this is with bad coaching, bad team around him. Playing with players that physically don't want to shoot the ball. Or WHE. And they do, it's just ugly and they just seemingly can't score more than 8 points in an important game. And we can talk about Jokic won. And it's just like, yeah, Jamal Murray literally played like a Hall of Famer in that finals run, okay? Yeah, LeBron James has played with Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. Let's be honest about what we're seeing here, right? Steph is having Clay and KD and Draymond. Even the year that he didn't have KD, it's like Jordan Poole was playing out of his mind. Like Jordan Poole was also playing like a Hall of Famer during that run. Like he was playing out of his mind. And Andrew Wiggins was also rising to the occasion. And it's just like Embiid has never had that. He's never had that, at least for a run, at least for a series. And the closest he was going to finally have that was this year. With Maxey and Paul George. And Embiid was playing the best version and the most mature version of basketball. The way how he was passing the ball, the way how he was, understood to not, in some moments it is his time to slow down the game and get it to me. And other times it's like, no. Like he was playing so fluid with the team and I just was watching. I was just like, this could have happened 5 years ago if they got the right coach and the right situation around him. I was like, yeah, this is that when seeing how successful Embiid as this season and how successful the Sixers were, it's like that's an indictment on the Sixers organization, not Embiid. That's an indictment on the Sixers organization. But it was awesome to see still, cause it was just like, you got there. You got there. And then this happens. This is so much more of a tragedy rather than a joke. And I'm so irked in the comments section when I see people, kind of like make fun of these things, cause it's just like, this guy's body is falling apart on him. Like that's what when we see people who are like kind of injury prone and keep getting injured, like I can't tell you how exhausting it is. We all saw Andrew Luck in tears. And I'm so grateful that of all people he was able to be kind of like a face of that. And I've quoted this so many times, but the Travis Kelce where he's like, I've had 10 surgeries and not a day goes by that I don't feel every single one of them. And I'm not going to go on my whole surgery history. I've already told you guys a million times all my injuries and whatnot. And it's just like, yeah, I feel them too. I feel my knee and my shoulder, all that stuff. And it's just like it's a reminder. And I still have it saved on my phone when Colin Cowherd gave a talk about Klay Thompson cause he got injured and then he got injured again back to back, and how when he won the ring, he went to his physical therapist and he's like, you can. Ow, people don't realize how exhausting it is to get injured and go through physical therapy. And it was actually one of the lowest points of my life. Like truly one of the lowest points of my life where I tore my meniscus and it was such a brutal surgery. And it was my 3rd time doing it, but for whatever reason it was so brutal. All the scar tissue, everything. And I was in such pain, so low. And then I finally recover, and then I kid you not, like 3 weeks later, I just destroy my clavicle. It just completely breaks. And then it didn't heal, and then it was just like I was literally spent like a year, like a full calendar year in physical therapy. I was exhausted. I was depressed. I was frightened. And I'm not a professional athlete. So I'm not making hundreds of millions of dollars. And I don't have everyone's just not focused on like, we need to get you better because it's like everyone else has to live their life, right? Like I'm not I'm important in my life, but I'm not in it's just like I'm not the center of the universe here. So it was like so isolating, so alone. And I got family, but it was just still kind of just like at the end of the day when you're injured, man, you are alone in your bed with your thoughts. That's what it comes down to. You got time with your physical therapist, you got time with your family and all that, but like at the end of the day, man, you are alone in pain in your bed. That's what it is. And that's why I leaned on these shows so heavily and sports in general, it's what helped me really see just how important all this stuff is. And so when I see these things like this happen to some of these athletes, whether it be Joe Burrow, whether it be Joel Embiid, whether it be Derrick Rose, whoever, it's just like this stuff is such a bummer. It's such a bummer. It's so sad. And it's just like I actually regret that, and this is a completely different, a conversation, but all the stuff with Tiger when you realize that he's had like 20 back surgeries and like 10 leg surgeries, you're just like guy is a victim of pain. Like he's not just someone who wants to do the stuff that he's doing. And don't get me wrong, he's made bad decisions. That's why I don't want to turn that video into this. I just wish I covered it at the time. But it almost made me uncomfortable because it is such a personal thing, but I realized like I probably had some good thoughts to kind of bring to that table. But when you realize that like someone like Tiger's he's in pain for his entire life. It's not like, oh, well, just stop taking that medicine. It's just like that's not an option for him. Now, not driving is certainly an option. No denying that. But it's just like these guys their bodies are collapsing. They're in pain. Getting that many surgeries, that many procedures is insane. So beat up. Anyone who has surgery, even if it is the most routine surgery, right? Technically meniscus surgery is routine. They're going into you're going into your body. They are cutting you up. Just going down in anesthesia. Like it is so exhausting. It's like rolling down the stairs, 10 times. The most routine of injuries, oh, I broke my clavicle. It's like, oh, lots of people break their clavicle. One of the most I could not when I was on the ground, I could not even bring my body up. I could especially because it was fully broken. Sometimes you get a broken clavicle and it's just kind of broken. But like mine was fully snapped into two and it was different sides of my body and I could not move. I could not move. And I was just like, it was scary. Honestly, it was scary. And it was just like I could not move. And so it's just like the pain and the agony and the surgery and the recovery, it's just devastating. It's all I'm trying to emphasize more than anything is just Joel Embiid is actually truly special, truly elite, and his career for the most part has been robbed from him. And it's not a joke. It's really not. Like it's just listen, at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that with sports and with these shows, you enjoy them how you want to enjoy them. Whether you want to watch them and say, this is so stupid, right? They're so dumb. They have no idea what they're talking about. That's how you want to enjoy and consume it, like by all means do it. If you want to watch, games and scream and just root against players, it's like, that's why they get paid all this money. That's why Nick Wright gets paid all this money. And Brew gets paid all this money. That's why Joel Embiid gets paid all this money. It's just like it's part of it. You can get traded at any moment. 1 minute you're playing in Minnesota, the next minute you're in Philly. You can win 5 rings. You can win no rings. Like it's all par for the course. It's like it's a deal you make where it's like, I'm going to be famous. My life is going to be on blast. They can say that I'm the worst player ever, that I'm stealing money. It's all par for the course because I'm getting well compensated, and that's just as what it is. And so, that's all fair game at the end of the day. But I just try to encourage people that it's just like if you are that type of person, set that aside for just a moment and just recognize that stuff like this is just it's a tragedy, I mean, like it's just you're seeing a career and the potential robbed of you. And even something as simple as looking at this graphic, 27.6 points per game in 31.9 minutes per game. And on a per minute basis, he's better scorer than Wilt Chamberlain, which is insane if I know a lot of Philly people want to know the history of Wilt, but Wilt is clearly the most dominant player that is not discussed. And he is clearly they literally had to change the rules of the NBA because of Wilt Chamberlain. But obviously MJ and Luka, and it's just he's been able to play barely 50. Is that quick math? I think that's less than 50% of possible career games. And it's just and even in the games that he's played, he's either trying to get back up to speed, he's either already injured, recovering, whatever it may be. And it's just a bummer, man. It is such a bummer. And like what Nick said, and I was saying this yesterday, it's just like if he just had this a couple weeks ago, even a few weeks ago he just got the surgery, you'd be like, okay. It's obviously not ideal, but should be able to still maybe make the playoffs, etc. etc. And it's just not only did this also, of course, happen to Joel Embiid, but the timing of it is absolutely insane. I mean, it's just if someone told you hey, I'm going to write a story and it's going to be all about how this player keeps getting injured. You would be like, this is so stupid. You'd be like, this is so dumb, dude. No one, right? Oh, and you got appendicitis, a week before the finals. You're like, this is so dumb. You're not even being creative. Who wrote this? Some AI or whatever. You're like, this is so stupid. And yet this is this man's life. So, it's just crass. Why, it's just crazy. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers? How you think injuries have impacted his? Do you think he, was robbed by injuries? Do you think he's to blame for it, which I just think is an insane take, I'll be totally honest with you. But let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here. I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help the visibility and algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.